Hey everyone. It looks like hold on one second. It looks like it looks like my computer shut down. Really weird. So give me 1 second to get caught back up. I'm not seeing the video. Is it not loading? What's going on? It says waiting for Breeze Toys, but I'm already live. My thing says I'm live and streaming. I'm not sure what's going on. I do apologize. I need to get a fucking new laptop. That's all there is to it. Let me restart YouTube. This might not work, unfortunately. All right, looks like it's going now. That's weird. Anyways, I was talking about the NECA Ghostface Inferno edition, so that looks like a pretty cool toy. That article was from toyark.com. Also from Toyark, McFarlane Batman animated Joker mobile is now live. It looks like a vehicle from the Batman the Animated Series from the 1990s. Retail is $59.99, coming out May 24th, exclusively to Target in the USA. La-di-da. 6-inch scale vehicle, really nice. Crafted with detail as a tribute to legendary television show, blah, blah, blah. With enough room to seat 6-inch Batman series action figures, the Joker mobile is ready to transport your favorite adventures through Gotham. A bunch of speak. Requires 3 AA batteries, not included. Okay, I don't know what the batteries are for. That's weird, but that looks like that actually looks like a vehicle I'd probably buy, especially for my Batman Missions line, because that's a 6-inch line that I have figures for. Also coming from toyark.com, Masters of the Universe Tila figure by Mondo. Pre-orders have been open for this figure. It is a 1/6 scale figure. Pre-orders will be available until April 12th. 11.5 inches tall and is fully articulated. 2 classic portraits, a Motu 200X inspired portrait, or 2000X, I should say. Interchangeable hands, a spear, a shield, a sword and sheath, a staff, a serpent staff, a serpent headdress, and a display stand. Retail is $250. Holy shit. All right, well, there you go. That's for diehard collectors. Toyark has also announced NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Last Ronin Ultimate Casey Jones figure. It looks like it includes interchangeable hands, portraits, and plenty of accessories, scheduled to release in May. Pre-orders live, blah, blah, blah. Walmart Collector Con series. Based on issue number 3 of the comic, with 30 points of articulation. Includes extra hands, head, loose mask, signature golf bag, sledgehammer, 2 baseball bats, hockey stick, and cricket bat. Crumpet not included. That's funny. All right. So Last Ronin Conan from NECA. That's actually a good looking figure, to tell you the truth. But that's all I got for toy news and rumors. So let's go ahead and get into our topics. Let's start off with Forgotten Toy Line. Now, I have already shown 1 or 2 of these from my collection, But this week, I wanted to highlight the GoBots Rock Lords toys. Now, I don't have any on hand to show you. They're all in a box in my bedroom. But I am working on, loosely finishing my Rock Lords collection. I got a ways to go because they're not super expensive, but they're not high priority for me because they're basically all the same goddamn figure, just different paint jobs. Slight modifications to the mold, but they're basically the same damn toy. Rock Lords has largely been credited as the gimmick that killed the GoBots, more or less. They were featured pretty heavily in the theatrically released feature-length animated film GoBots Battle of the Rock Lords. And they pretty much replaced the cars and trucks and planes and stuff of the primary GoBot line and were the new, basically, It toy. Only they weren't the It toy. Nobody freaking wanted them back in the day. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I thought Rock Lords were rubbish when I was a kid, and I didn't buy any. I was pretty heavily equally into both Transformers and GoBots at the same time. So my knockoffs and stuff because I just love transforming robot toys. And I watched both cartoons and both movies. Battle of the Rock Lords sucked. Transformers 1986 rocked my world. So Rock Lords, if you're not familiar with Rock Lords, they're basically, as the name implies, they're transforming robots, GoBots basically, that start as robots and they transform into boulders, basically, giant rocks. That's it. They all are rock themed. The good guys are like basically precious metals, and the bad guys are like lava and coal and stuff like that. So not a great toy line, which is again why it's a forgotten toy line. But I'm going to be honest with you, they have really awesome articulation for an 80s era Transformer style toy, which is actually pretty cool. GoBots were slightly inferior to Transformers in the sense that they were smaller in scale and they were pretty basic in their robot modes. Most of them didn't even have like very good or recognizable faces. But you can say the same thing about Transformers. But the GoBots had one advantage over the Transformers, and that's they were actually better articulated toys by and large than the Transformers. And that's one of the things I like about GoBots, is even though they suck as a transforming robot toy, they're actually decent, I'll say, as a sci-fi action figure. But that's about all I can say about Rock Lords. So my first topic I want to get into is RC radio-controlled car memories and thoughts. So RC cars have been around at least since the 80s, probably the 70s or earlier. I don't know 100%. But basically, you get a remote control that you put batteries in, and you get a remote-controlled car that's paired with your remote, and you also put batteries in the car. Modern ones use rechargeable batteries with USB plugs, but that's a whole other story. And they usually have pretty basic controls. They have a joystick that moves them forwards and backwards, and a second joystick that turns the wheels left and right. Most of your RC cars, like the vast majority of them, are either based on a race car style design or a monster truck style design, more or less. Now, there is some variety, but by and large, that's what you're getting if you buy RC cars. Now, my parents bought me one radio-controlled race car for Christmas one year. I believe it was the year I turned 12 years old. I also got a radio-controlled, what do you call it, race car track, like what they show on TV shows sometimes, you put the cars on the track and you push the button and they just run around in a circle. I broke the race car track trying to assemble it, so I never got to play with it, which was very sad, but whatever. The RC car, on the other hand, like I said, it was a good gesture by my parents, don't get me wrong, But because we were fairly low income, my mom was a waitress, my dad worked at a factory, so they had 4 kids, so we didn't have a lot of money for toys and such. So they bought me the car, but they didn't have the money to buy me replacement batteries. So I was only able to play with the car for about a week. Once batteries were dead, my dad never replaced them. So it was like, well, that was fun for a while. It was an Indy style race car, if I remember correctly. So like your pretty standard RC car. It had the big wheels with the spikes on them, for traction, rolling over carpet and dirt and stuff. But I never got to play with it all that much. And to be honest with you, it didn't turn into a robot, so I wasn't all that interested in it in the first place. This was before I developed an appreciation for automobiles. Back then, I was just like, no, I want sci-fi figures and I want robots, and I didn't want anything else. So I was kind of disappointed with it. Because I didn't play with it after the batteries died and I never put new batteries in it, my dad never bought me another RC vehicle ever again. And to this day, I've never owned another RC vehicle of any sort. And we're just talking about your standard RC cars here. We're not talking about drones. That's a whole nother topic. I don't even know if I consider drones toys, so I don't know if I'll ever really talk about drones or not. I consider those electronics, and that's a whole nother thing. I don't usually talk about electronics on this show, but maybe I will. I don't know. I have no experience with drones, but they're a little technologically too advanced for me. Heck, RC cars were kind of tricky, kind of difficult for me in the first place. So, hello, Real Gamer Girl. Sorry, I've been a little rambly. Yes, I can read your comments. I apologize for the audio. Let me turn my phone up a little bit. Yes, I can read your comments. Yeah, I'm getting audio on my end, so I'm sorry. I really am sorry. I don't know what's going on. So next topic. Do you remember Furby, the toy from the 90s, a little Mogwai Gremlins looking thing that you could kind of sort of talk to? So I'm asking the question, what would happen if they gave Furby AI? Like actual modern day ChatGPT, Google levels of AI. But they also gave them, the ability to walk and talk and dance and move around. Would that be too advanced or too, I don't know, terrifying for children? If you have any kids yourself as an adult, would you buy your children a Furby if it had advanced artificial intelligence? Especially if it could walk and move and maybe, I don't know, pick things up. That sounds a little too close to, I don't know, Child's Play or Small Soldiers to me. I feel like it could be dangerous. But as someone who is somewhat sympathetic to AI as a technology and kind of, I'm not pro AI. I want to make that very goddamn clear. Because I know I have some videos where I talk about AI, but it's more of I'm just not anti-AI either, but I want to use it in an ethically sound manner. So the question is, should whoever makes Furby, I don't know, Hasbro or whoever the fuck it is, give actual advanced artificial intelligence to the Furby toy? And if so, how would parents and kids respond to that? I think Furby works best as basically a parrot. It has pre-programmed responses that you can unlock as you talk to it. I feel like that is, safe and probably not, problematic. Because if you give Furby AI, kids can teach it to say things it probably shouldn't be saying. Is all I'm gonna say there. I never owned a Furby, and to be honest, I don't really think I ever will. I just have never had any interest in the toy. Next topic, role play toys. Example, cops and robbers or cowboys in, I'm going to say Native Americans, not the other word. Ninja Turtles, sold masks and, the individual weapons. Ghostbusters sold the proton pack, the trap, the PK meter. Star Wars sells lightsabers, etc. So the question in the topic is, first of all, the question I have is, did you ever own any role play toys as a kid? Lightsabers, swords, etc. Or did you just do like I did, just play with sticks in the backyard because, whatever, it worked? So that's the question. The topic is pretty much, do role play toys add extra immersion to the toy line? So we'll use Masters of the Universe as an example. When I was a kid, my dad bought me He-Man figures. I had a He-Man, I had a Skeletor, I had a Hordak. I had the guy with the suction cups on his face, but I don't remember his name. And I haven't been bothered to look him up. I should, because I need to buy one eventually. But anyways, I also had the sword, He-Man sword, the I don't know, Grayskull sword or whatever it's called. And I had a He-Man Halloween mask that I wore for Halloween one year. I never had the proton pack, but I always wanted one. I never had the PK meter or the trap, the Ghostbusters trap, but I always wanted one. I had other occasional roleplay toys. I had the Wolverine claws that you could put on your fist, and you had Wolverine claws. I had Spider-Man web shooters, which were basically just silly string. Guns. Occasionally, you'd get like laser style guns, which are basically just like shaped like whatever the toy is, whatever the gun is, the phaser or whatever, and you put a battery in and they light up. I remember having one of the sci-fi guns, but I know it wasn't Star Trek or Star Wars, but I don't remember what it was. But it was a sci-fi gun I had as a kid. It took 9-volt battery, not AA or AAA, which was sucky because we always had AA batteries in the house because remote controls use AA batteries. We never had AAA batteries or 9 volts because nothing used them. So anytime I got a toy that used a 9-volt battery, I'd be lucky to get one battery whenever I got the toy. And then once it died, I was SOL. Like I said previously with the RC cars. Because we just couldn't really afford batteries back then. We just didn't have that kind of money. Yeah, pellet guns. I did have, like I mentioned, the Cops and Robbers set. I did have cap guns, and I had BB guns and pellet guns. And I also had, the toy handcuffs, the police badge, things like that. So my experience with role play toys was pretty limited. Like I said, we mostly got the dollar store versions. I never really liked them that much. The He-Man sword I broke on purpose because I was like, I didn't ask for this, so I broke it. I was kind of even though we were poor, I was kind of like, don't buy me toys I don't like. I was kind of like stubborn. I asked for X-Men toys one Christmas because the X-Men cartoon had just come out and I just got started reading the X-Men comics. And my parents bought me a bunch of X-Force toys. And I was like, can you fucking read? For Christ's sake. I wanted like Cyclops or Magneto or even fucking Wolverine, Rogue, Gambit, whatever. No, I got Warpath and Strong Guy and fucking shitheads I never fucking heard of and didn't recognize. And I was like, what the fuck is this? So going back to role play toys, I don't want to put age limit on a toy because you should be able to enjoy anything at any age. I feel like when it comes to sci and fantasy stuff, Ninja Turtles, Star Wars, etc., the lightsabers, the ninja swords, the proton packs, stuff like that, I feel like are targeted more to a younger demographic, like maybe 5 or 6 or 7 year olds. And the action figures, the plastic soldiers, the dudes, the men, the women, the superheroes are more targeted to like 8 year olds to 12 year olds and up. Is the impression I get just based on how I played as a kid and how my friends, what I remember them playing as a kid. Now, I'm not talking about like Nerf guns and squirt guns and stuff like that. That's a whole nother topic. So again, the question is 2 questions. Did you ever have any role play toys as a kid, and did they add to the immersion, or was it just sort of a piss poor substitute for the action figure you would have rather had? That's my question, I guess. Next topic. So do you remember Garbage Pail Kids? Garbage Pail Kids were phenomenally popular in like 1983 to about 1988 or so. Then Ninja Turtles again came on the scene and pretty much took over everything. Basically, once Ninja Turtles started, every toy that came before Ninja Turtles stopped, and every toy that came after Ninja Turtles basically ripped off Ninja Turtles. Now, that's not to say some toy lines like G.I. Joe, Transformers, a handful of others stuck around for a little while and then just sort of, fizzled out. But by and large, once TMNT hit, that was it. Everything was fucking TMNT. So the question I have is, as popular as Garbage Pail Kids was, the cards were must-have toys or trading cards, whatever. I had Garbage Pail Kids toys. All my friends or cards. All my friends did. We watched the movie. It fucking sucked. We watched it and we were like, Jesus Christ, the movie killed any interest I had previously in Garbage Pail Kids. Watching the movie, I was like over the franchise. I got rid of my cards and I moved on. But why didn't they ever make any Garbage Pail action figures? Or if they did, or did they? And I just don't know about it. And if they did, did they sell well? And what were they like? Were they like He-Man toys? Or were they like Smurf figurines? I'm just curious. Because I felt like as popular as Garbage Pail Kids were, they should have had like a whole fucking toy line, like 30, 40 toys, like Muscle Men. They should have just been churning those fucking things out. But I have never seen on YouTube anybody talking about Garbage Pail Kids toys, and I've never seen them listed on eBay when I search for vintage action figures. They never come up. So I'm assuming that they never made them. Anybody out there who maybe has knowledge, like Spectre Creative or Toy Galaxy, Pixel Dan, any of you guys who I know don't watch this show, but if you have ever done any research on it, has there ever been Garbage Pail action figures? If not, does anyone know why? Who dropped the ball on that? Last topic for the stream, and then I got to get to another stream on Horror Trams. I'll be watching Wes Craven's new Nightmare as soon as this stream ends. So bookmark that if you want. It'll be pretty soon. Final topic, Micro Machines. So I'm not going to talk about Micro Machines as a whole. I think I've already done a video on Micro Machines in the past. But the topic is cars versus sci-fi. So Micro Machines, by and large, come in more or less 2 flavors. You have the cars, the miniature cars and trucks and airplanes, etc., which are usually, similarly to Hot Wheels and Matchbox, based on officially licensed actual real cars. But then you have licensed Micro Machines based on mostly sci-fi properties: Star Wars, Ninja Turtles, Star Trek, Power Rangers, etc. Mostly, I think, more than anything, Star Wars. But I had a bunch of Star Trek and Power Rangers Micro Machines. I had the whole Power Ranger set, all of the individual Dinozords in Micro Machine form as a kid because they were cheap and I just wanted Power Ranger toys and I couldn't afford the big ones, like I have today. But it seems like Star Wars pretty much took over the brand, and I don't know what happened to Micro Machines. I feel like they just fell off the face of the earth at some point and kind of come back almost a couple of times, but not fully. I remember seeing a handful of Micro Machines for sale at Target like 2 or 3 years ago. I bought the entire line, like literally every pack that they had available at the time. But they didn't last long. I haven't seen any since, and I've been looking. So the question is, as a toy collector, do you have more of an interest in Micro Machines like, Hot Wheels, basically the cars, trucks, airplanes, etc., or the sci-fi stuff? And if you're into the sci-fi stuff, which, particular brand do you prefer? Are you a Star Trek person? Do you want all the, Birds of Prey and Enterprise, etc.? Or do you prefer Star Wars with your X-Wings and Millennium Falcons and Star Destroyers, etc.? Which do you prefer? Me personally, I would claim I'm good either way. I like the cars and trucks and things, but I tend to prefer the sci-fi stuff when it comes to Micro Machines. Even though I don't like Star Trek as a property, I can't stand the show. I can barely tolerate like a handful of the movies. I do really enjoy the books. Sidebar: I love the books. They're goddamn good, which I don't understand why the books are so well written and the TV show is rubbish. I haven't quite figured that out yet, but I don't know. Maybe there's something to it. I haven't. That's a puzzle I haven't solved. But I love the ship design. The ship designs are fucking awesome. Look, I'm going to say something blasphemous. I prefer Star Wars over Star Trek all day long, but Star Trek has the better ships. It just does. You got the Enterprise, you got the Borg Cube, you got the Bird of Prey, you got the shuttle and all these other ships. They're fucking cool. I would rather have a collection, models, action figure scale, 3 3/4 inch, whatever, of Star Trek ships than I would Star Wars ships, because the only Star Wars ships I like are the Star Destroyer and the X-Wing. Everything else sucks. The Y-Wing is ugly. The Wing's ugly. The A-Wing is ugly. The Cloud Pod car is ugly. The Snowspeeder is all the Star Wars spaceships are either ugly or boring, other than the X-Wing and the Star Destroyer. I don't even like the Millennium Falcon, to tell you the truth. As a iconic set piece in the movies, yeah, sure, it's pretty dope. But as a toy, I don't want to own a Millennium Falcon. I'd rather have a USS Enterprise, even though I prefer Star Wars over Star Trek as a property. Again, like I said, I do like the Star Trek story. I like the books. I've read a lot of Star Trek novels. They're pretty good. The TV show puts me to sleep. Can't stand it. But yeah, toys pretty cool. Anyways, other Micro Machines, I don't know what else is even out there. Like what else is out there? I don't know. I haven't really looked. So again, the question for you all in the comments is, do you own or have you owned any Micro Machines? And what's your flavor? Is it Star Wars? Is it Star Trek? Is it Power Rangers? Is it Ghostbusters, Batman, or just like, regular old race cars? Let me know. That's all I have for this week. So have fun. Check out my other videos and stay cool.